Welcome to this ITTF Intertribal Task Force sponsored discussion on tribally owned Native American business opportunities. My name is Kevin Chesnick. I am an Oneida Nation tribal member and the former chief engineer for the Wisconsin Department of Transportation. These webinars intend to explore critical knowledge that tribal governments need to understand in order to create tribally owned and certified business in three distinct areas. These three areas include DOA MBE, WISDOT DBE, and SBA Section 8 program. This is the third webinar of a three-session set of webinars that provides critical information, content, policy guidance, and several tribally owned firm stories on working for the Wisconsin Department of Administration, the Wisconsin Department of Transportation, and the U.S. federal government. The goal of these presentations is to provide tribal governments with the process and steps required to create tribally owned businesses certified to work as DOA MBE, WISDOT DBE, and SBA Section 8 certified firms in Wisconsin. This also includes information on the available support resources tribally owned firms are able to access to find work, compete for projects successfully, and become viable and sustainable tribally owned businesses. Webinar 1 discussed opportunities for tribes to create firms that are recognized as tribally owned and certified as Wisconsin Department of Administration Minority Business Enterprise, or MBE. Webinar 2 provided information for tribes looking to create firms that are recognized as tribally owned and certified as WISDOT Disadvantaged Business Enterprise, DBE. Webinar 3 will provide information for tribes looking to create firms that are recognized as tribally owned and certified as Section 8A programs of the Federal U.S. Business Administration Small Business. The goal today is to learn more about how to create tribally owned businesses that establish long-term business relationships with the U.S. Small Business Administration Section 8A program status. As an overview of our agenda today, we're going to have Federal U.S. Business Administration Section 8A program status, which I'll monitor, and a brief overview of the 8A SBA program by Ina Williamson, Wisconsin Procurement Institute of the WPI. The nuts and bolts process of becoming certified as a tribally owned enterprise, certified as U.S. Small Business Administration Section 8A company, will be Daryl or Shane Mahaffey from the SBA. Finally, a tribally owned perspective on Section 8A small business challenges by Daryl Londo with the Lac du Flambeau Business Development Corporation will be discussed. I will close the discussion at the end of the webinar. So for introductions, our first speaker, Ina Williamson, Wisconsin Procurement Institute, WPI. She will provide an overview of the SBA 8A program. Our second speaker today will be Daryl Shane Mahaffey of SBA. He will provide information on how a tribally owned business can become DOA certified as a minority business enterprise. Our third speaker today will be Mr. Daryl Londo, LDF BDC, Business Development Corporation, will also provide perspective on how working with the SBA as a certified A2A tribally owned business works. So please welcome our first speaker, Ina Williamson.
Thank you, Kevin. The federal government's 8A program gives socially and economically disadvantaged business an advantage when competing on federal contracts. Under the program, an agency can limit competition between just 8A certified firms, or in some cases, even issue sole source contracts. If you qualify for this program and are currently considering entering the federal market or are already actively contracting to federal agencies, you may want to consider applying for the 8A Business Development Program. The U.S. SBA will be discussing some of the details later in this presentation. Who is participating in this program now? Over 3,700 businesses that receive over $10 billion in contracts. As you can see from the graph, the highest dollars are with the U.S. Army. On this slide, I just wanted to share some the 8A activity that is occurring in Wisconsin. As you can see, the firms are a mix of construction, technology, and services. ranging in dollars from almost $13 million down to $50,000. As this webinar is being targeted to Native and tribal businesses, I wanted to also mention the Hub Zone program. Businesses located on reservation land potentially qualify for this program. There is a 3% goal directly with federal government as well as with federal prime contractors. This goal is not being met. There are currently about 650 Hub Zone companies receiving awards totaling over $925 million. Another significant opportunity. As you can see, the top agency under the Hub Zone program is Homeland Security. On this slide, I just want to share the list of Wisconsin Hub Zone contractors that are receiving contracts. We have, it looks like, 6 here in the state of Wisconsin right now. On this slide, I'm sharing the firms throughout the state that are currently certified as Hub Zone firms. You can notice they are from Milwaukee to Sister Bay and Door County to way up north in Grantsburg. There's an opportunity for any small business located in a Hub Zone designated area. If you decide to go after the 8A or Hub Zone certifications, I do encourage you to market your certification to federal agencies, federal prime contractors, and potential partners. Your certification has value. Let government agencies and other businesses know that you have it. Add it to your business card, your capability statement, and your website. Mention it in your business introduction. Let your business capabilities lead the conversation, but do end with the mention of your valuable certification. Network. Developing relationships is critical in your business development journey. Attend events and conferences where you can sell yourself and your business. One such event is coming up in Wisconsin, Marketplace, which will be held on October 23rd and 24th in Milwaukee. It is a great opportunity to meet with federal, state, local, and corporate buyers. Don't learn the hard way. Keep your certifications and, in this case, your SAM registrations current. Allowing them to expire may cause you to lose a contract. Don't put yourself in that situation. And finally, since you have worked hard to secure your 8A or Hub Zone certification, I encourage you to explore other certifications that may be of value to your business and help you open other markets, including state and local government. I will now turn the program over to Shane Mahaffey from the USSBA.
Thank you, Ina. As Ina had mentioned, the 8A Business Development Program is to provide a level playing field for socially and economically disadvantaged people or entities. The government limits its competition for certain contracts that participate in the 8A program. This means instead of competition, we look at sole sources. Certified firms may receive their sole source contracts for up to $4 million for goods, services, and construction, and up to $7 million for manufacturing. Now, those thresholds are exempt by entity-owned firms. So tribally owned firms are exempt from that threshold. So they can go upwards 22 million plus. Some of the opportunities that you get with the 8A program is you have a business opportunity specialist to help you with your federal contracting in conjunction with WPI. Receive management technical assistance, including extensive business training through our Emerging Leaders Program, counseling and marketing assistance as well. Some of the criteria to be in the program. So we mentioned social and economically disadvantaged. Indian tribes are automatically a presumed group for social disadvantage. Get into the economic disadvantage. The tribe must be determined that the tribe itself is economically disadvantaged. And how this comes into play, it will take the following information. It will take the number of tribal members, tribal unemployment rate per capita of the tribal members, a percentage of the local Indian population that's below the poverty level, tribes' access to capital, etc. The list goes on for a little bit longer. Start talking about business eligibility. The These are the requirements for business eligibility for tribes and individuals. We need to know that the legal business entity, it's for-profit and it's acceptable to suit. The size, it must be small in determination with SBA size standards. Ownership, it must be owned and controlled by the tribe itself, at least 51%. We have potential for success, and that's typically business has been around for at least 2 years, as shown by taxes, or we look at if the tribe backs the business, or an individual who manages and controls the daily business operations of the firm has substantial technical and management experience. Those are the main priorities to be for eligibility. Main eligibility requirements. Applications for the 8A program are only accepted using the online application of certified.sba.gov. That concludes my presentation for today. I'd like to pass off to Daryl Londo of LDF.
Thank you, Shane. Now Daryl Londo of LDF Corporation will share their 8A experience. So Daryl, please take it over.
Thank you, Kevin. And I'd also like to thank Ina and Shane, not only for their comments on this webinar, but also for their assistance with the LDF Business Development Corporation when we began this process about 2 years ago now. My name is Daryl Londo. I'm the CEO of the Lac du Flambeau Business Development Corporation, wholly owned by the Lac du Flambeau Band of Lake Superior, Chippewa in northern Wisconsin. And obviously, feel free at any point to reach out, and that will be a theme, I think, throughout my comments, on this webinar is use your business partners wisely. They're all there to help, not just the WPI and the SBA, but other firms like ours, that have gained some experience with this process. Keep in mind at the end of the day that the SBA program is designed to help you be successful in building your business. And to that end, let me just tell you a little bit about our business. My partner here is Randy Sawyer, who's not only the Chief Operating Officer of the Lac du Flambeau BDC, but he's also currently acting as the President of LDF Construction, which is our SBA 8A and Hub Zone firm. Randy's actively leading that organization. So as the CEO of the BDC, I'll give you perhaps a little bit more of a strategic perspective on our 8A firm, how it's part of our overall portfolio, just to give you some perspective from the tribe real quickly on this first slide. So we are a BDC. We have 3 primary business units in our portfolio, but our mission from the tribe is to grow and diversify revenue for the benefit of the tribe and to also create compelling career opportunities for community members. So everything we do in terms of developing the portfolio or growing one or more of these companies has to be consistent with that 2-part goal, either revenue and or creating and growing career opportunities for community members. So we got into with LDF Construction about 6 years ago when the BDC was formed, and we acquired a small general contracting construction business that had a handful of workers, so they were able to self-perform much of the work that they were involved with. A couple years ago, because that firm really hadn't changed in terms of size or scope, the organization decided to pursue the SBA programs, both Hub Zone and 8A, as a means to grow in terms of the segments and customers that we were working with, and actually to grow the business consistent with the mission. So tribal officials go to different seminars and participate in different forums where they hear good things about 8A. What they don't necessarily hear about are, the actual, steps and the work that's required to put together an application for 8A and to become certified and then to grow the business. So just getting 8A in and of itself isn't success. We like to think that that's really when the work begins. But in terms of our experience, so I think that process started here in calendar year 2017. I joined the organization in late 17, and in early 2018, about a year, just over a year or so ago, we finally got word back from the SBA that they hadn't accepted our application. They weren't ready to certify us. As a matter of fact, I think the terminology was you've been rejected on two particular fronts. So our immediate course of action was to address what those objections were and overcome them, which we did. And I think that was our first indication of how willing the SBA was willing to work with us, to do that, which was necessary to ultimately be certified and to be successul in the program. So, the resources are out there, the people are out there willing to help. You actually have to do the work. So we overcame that initial rejection in early 2018. By the summer of 2018, we began to comply with the program, putting together our business plan with our marketing plan, and then soon thereafter began to bid on federal contracts that we were certified to bid on. Okay, I'm going to transition to the next slide. In leveraging our SBA advisory services, using the available tools online, and interacting and learning from other 8A firms. So I just want to reiterate here the business partnership that we established with Shane and Ina. Both of those organizations have been tremendous in helping us formulate our approach to taking advantage of the SBA program for LDF construction. There's tremendous resources available through the SBA website, and also available online are just libraries of information, templates, webinars, and the like that are available to help you get smart on what resources might be available through the SBA and experiences that other firms may have had. As a matter of fact, I'm participating this afternoon on a webinar that has to do with capabilities statements, which is an important part of your marketing approach when you're out trying to establish relationships with firms in your area. We've decided to focus on the state of Wisconsin and the Upper Peninsula of Michigan so far. But then again, keep in mind that we're less than 1 year into this and still learning, every single month on the right approach, the right, types of contracts, to pursue, and the right types of partnerships, to be affiliated with. Another thing that I would encourage you to do, and I know this is important to Kevin as well, is find out what other tribes and other organizations might be available in your area, Wisconsin and Michigan in particular, for us, including those that are either currently active in the program or those that have recently graduated, meaning, they've surpassed the 9 years, the initial term of the actual program. Their firms, standing up on both legs. They're out there doing business, and what they just went through is a 9-year education on how to be successful doing business with the federal government, which is unique in and of itself. Onto my next slide, and there's quite a bit of some substance that we can cover here. And let me just start by saying the marketing plan and the business plan are requirements of the SBA early on after receiving certification. The application process in and of itself is pretty involved, and that's essentially certifying that your tribe is qualified or certified essentially to participate in this program. Once you get that, you can leverage, that certification, that development into other 8A firms. The first one being, potentially the most challenging. But once that floodgate, if you will, is open, then subsequent 8A businesses, can can come quicker, much more efficiently. Once you get that certification, though, you'll be immediately contacted by your business rep. In our case, it was in fact Shane Mahaffey, and he helped us put together our business plan and marketing plan. And that there are templates available, online through the SBA. I believe ours turned out to be a 25-page business plan document with 9 major parts. And the 9 parts aren't anything that are going to be difficult for you to put together. They involve who's going to be involved in the business, what are their backgrounds, what are your objectives for the company in the first year, what partnerships can you rely on in terms of the folks that you currently do business with. What is your specific, marketing plan, your management and organization, and what do you expect to do in terms of revenue and expenses the first year? So pretty typical marketing and business plan, provisions that you may already have associated with your existing, going concern. This next area, seeking mutually beneficial mentor-protege relationships. We jokingly refer to it as a courting process, or a dating process. Don't expect to marry your first date. I guess what might be some good advice, and we've actually interacted, not just met with, but actually started to do business plans and approach agencies and partnerships and potential bid opportunities, with a couple different potential mentor-protege, partners before we decided on the one that we're currently courting, and we're actually planning the wedding, to continue to use the analogy right now, in terms of reviewing a draft mentor-protege agreement with a particular party that we just found to be aligned in terms of how we do business. They've got a terrific reputation in the area that that we want to focus on. They seem to do business very well. They've been around for a long time, and most importantly, they want to work with us to help us grow our business. So that it took us about probably 6 months to find the potential relationship that we're working with today, and so we hope that for that to be successful for at least the first 3-year initial term period. You only get 2 mentor-protege relationship opportunities over the life of your 8A program. So, as in a relationship, significant relationship, the guidance is to choose wisely. If I had to maybe identify our strategy, currently, and I think this too has evolved over the first year, is I would break it down into three buckets. Those being partnerships, relationships, and ratings, excellent ratings. We so far to date have been involved in 4 federal contracts. One we've actually completed, and happy to say we achieved an excellent rating. It was a HUBZone contract in northern Wisconsin for the forestry department. It was a good first federal contract for us. It was a very good learning experience. We were able to finish it on time, on budget, and of quality that the contracting officer there expected. And in return, we received an excellent rating. And I mention that because when you get on the SBA webinars, what they will say repeatedly is that early performance is actually extremely important. So make sure that coming out of the gate that you do everything you can, to make sure that those are good experiences for you, your firm, and the contracting officer that you're doing work with. We were fortunate with our first one to receive an excellent rating, and that's important because with subsequent bid opportunities, those contracting officers, the representatives of the federal government, are going to want to know how you've done, to date, performing on your contracts and meeting your expectations. So leverage that, as much as you possibly can in those bid opportunities and in all your marketing material, quite frankly, including your business plan, your marketing plan, and your capability statement as you're out and about, in the marketplace, trying to convince firms, that they want to do business with you. So excellent ratings, relationships and partnerships. And the partnerships include your mentor, protege, any other type of joint venture relationships that you have, relationships that you have with other 8A firms, and federal contracting opportunities around the state. So those three components are our focus, currently with our business plan. So I mentioned HubZone and 8A. They're both SBA federal contracting programs opportunities, and we don't distinguish or discriminate, necessarily. We're pursuing both because of our hub zone, historically underutilized business zone that we are here in Lac du Flambeau, and as a result of our certification through the 8A program. Obviously, there are targets, for the federal government to award business to in each one of those categories, and I think we're situated well to take advantage of both of those. I just want to reiterate, I guess, as we close here, is that this is a tremendous opportunity. The federal SBA program, it's a learning experience. It has been for our firm, for the about year that we've been at it. We've been working on growing our company organically, meaning every person we bring on, everything that we do is as a result of the organization that we have today. We're not currently, or we haven't been actively looking to purchase an organization to jumpstart our activity, and I know some firms have done that, and that is a strategy. It's just not one that we're pursuing now. So it's not a strategic move necessarily. It's more of an organic move, but with that, it's a tremendous learning experience. So, and including as you go through, make sure that you're in close contact with your business representative so you understand the requirements initially, and those that you have to continually comply with to avoid protests and other issues that might come up, once you're out there actually doing work for the federal government. So I think with that, I will close and turn it back over to Kevin.
Thank you, Daryl, for sharing your story today. That was very interesting. I want to take this time to conclude our webinar today, and I want to thank our speakers, Ina Williamson from the Wisconsin Procurement Institute, WPI, Daryl Che-Mahaffey for the SBA discussion, and of course, who you just heard, Daryl Londo from the LDF Business Development. Thank you for everyone. Concludes our webinar today, and have a great day. Thank you.